Hey y'all. Yeah, here I am again. It's been a minute and today I wanted to record I'm not even going to say that I wanted to record this video because honestly not that much. But the thing is, I've been meaning and I've been saying that I always want to record like my transformation or documenting my transformation and what it means or what it feels like or what it looks like to actually change realities. And so I would say, like, just to give you a little bit of context, back in back during 2020, during the pandemic, what I decided to do, I was really happy about it, and I decided that I would take the time, utilize the time to actually do a lot of subconscious change and rewire, I guess, uncondition myself, recondition myself, and rewire certain things, certain beliefs. And at first, honestly, I was just doing it for the sake of it to see what happens. I didn't have any particular intention or vision or goal, or yeah, I wasn't aiming at anything. I was just like, oh, let me dig into my brain, do some little, I don't know, updates, and then let's see what that will look like. And so come end of 2021, and my world completely shifted. It completely changed. Everything crumbled. Like nothing, the way that I used to create reality did not stick anymore. And it just felt like I was like back to ground zero, whatever ground zero was, because it almost felt like I'm a kid in a way, but I'm not a kid. But it's like, when you're a kid and you're learning everything from scratch, the only difference is that as a kid, you're excited about life and you're like, oh my God, everything is new and whatever. But I had moments that were like that. But a lot of moments were not like that. They were like unpleasant. But because I had already built a certain muscle to go through change, to go through transformation, I guess it wasn't like all that bad. It wasn't as dramatic as it would have been like years ago, but still unpleasant. Now with, like, in retrospect, what I feel happened is definitely my higher self was calling me to a higher, obviously like a higher reality, like expanding and just moving me through my ideal reality as it always has been. But because it was something that it's like completely the opposite of my usual operating system. One, I had to destroy that operating system, and then two, I had now to create enough contrast in my reality to see, like, oh, actually I don't want this operating system, I want a new operating system. Well, now that I have a new operating system, what do I do? How does this work? And I have to learn everything from scratch, really, right? So basically 2022 was that rebuilding, or not even rebuilding, actually just getting familiar with that new operating system. And what I realized for me was that normally I'm predominantly in my masculine energy, whether it's like in light or in my shadow. And that's how I've created my reality. So everything comes from my masculine energy, and I wasn't like, I was kind of aware of my feminine energy, but I've never really used it to do anything or to create anything for that matter. So it's always been there, but not at the forefront. So I was familiar, I knew about her, but not really in the forefront. And so, but then at that point, I also realized that the way that I had been going about in my masculine energy is not a reality that I wanted for myself. I actually wanted the opposite. And the opposite now meant my feminine energy. And I had to learn what that feels like. And, like, what is a relationship? How do I treat my friends? How do I treat my family from a feminine energy? How do I make money from a feminine energy? And it's not it has nothing to do with like gender, and I haven't quite figured out how to put it in words, or like how exactly to explain it to those who might be new at like feminine and masculine energy. However, all I can say is like it's a feeling, it's a vibration, right? It's like we have two, it's always like we have these polarities that are part of our realities or our human experience, whether it's like feminine and masculine, light, dark, positive and negative, blah blah blah, all those things, right? So in order for me to find this, or to create this new reality, I had to get aware, or I had to learn what my feminine energy feels like and what it feels like to create from that space. And again, because it represented the complete opposite of what I was used to, it was quite challenging. But as always, everything always works out. So here I am now. It's 2023, and as you can hear in my voice, maybe I've been sick in the past few days. I caught a flu, just a regular flu, and for someone like me who believes in how we create our own realities, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like saying, oh, I'm sick, because I know what makes me sick, and it's basically my sabotaging mechanism. And what's been happening is that back in June, actually on my birthday, I purchased a mentorship course, and it's been really amazing. And I dug deep really fast, and I took all that information really fast, for me anyways, and everything was really new. And what that meant, it meant that I put a lot of pressure on my ego, my child self, and then she really felt threatened. And so then she went into, whoa, we need to stop this. Nobody's trying to change. Nobody's trying to do anything. And so all these other things kind of started coming into my reality. But really the vibration, the underlying vibration is like this self-sabotaging, or I would say not quite yet. Well, yes, self-sabotaging, because this child is trying to survive, basically, right? And so all these things started happening in my reality, and I know that I'm in self-sabotaging mode because all of a sudden I don't have a lot of energy. I feel tired. I get sick. I have like all these other reasons that come at me for me not to do anything, or for me not to see certain projects through, like, and projects that are new to me, right? I also know my self-sabotaging self, yeah, has kicked in the foods. Like, just to give you an example, today, I've also, so in the past few weeks, I've also kind of been, recovering from this whole self-sabotaging thing. And so what I decided to do is I made a plan just for 7 days. And I had a talk with my child self, and I was like, listen, we're just gonna do things to explore, okay? Nobody's asking you to do anything. Little things, that's it. And for someone like me, usually, or like my past self, the story that I created, if I don't do something, like, there's nothing that is worth doing if I don't do it hard, It's like from one extreme to another. And so my feminine side, and this is why I say, like, I don't know how to say exactly, like, for some people it could be their masculine energy, but for me, my feminine side, the feminine energy of it requires that I slow down my processes, and that I take the time to do things, and that I don't rush through things, and that I take the time to create systems, and to be just more gentle, more patient, just like flowing like an ocean, but really just like, la-di-da-di-da. I don't know, this is how I feel. So basically, yeah, so then this new expression now was like, listen, we're just going to commit to the smallest things in one day, starting today. And so I now start my day with like breath work to put in my intention first thing when I wake up. And I had planned on waking up. I had a whole plan. Basically, I had a whole plan, and obviously none of this, well, I wouldn't say none of it. Nothing happened exactly the way that I wanted to, but because I committed myself to see things through, which this video is part of, I just executed. And my biggest resistance lately, so through this course that I've been taking, they teach you how to create organic content. Maybe I don't have that right, but anyways, I think for those who are in the world of social media will understand. But nonetheless, you have to create content and you have to execute it, right? And so that has been the biggest block that came back again, which I was surprised, because I thought that I had worked through that resistance. But what I realized is that now this resistance was directly linked to my disbelief of making money through this system, but also wanting to make money in a certain amount of weeks because I needed money, or I was in a state that I need money, right? And then I was like, okay, I need money, so I'm gonna go through this course. I'm gonna do it for 6 weeks, and within the 6 weeks, I'll build this thing, and then I'll generate. Not that it's impossible, definitely possible. The only thing here that would make it impossible is my own belief, right? And that's what got triggered, my disbelief in doing these things, because again, they're like opposite to what I have created thus far, or I know. They're the opposite of what I know. So basically this is unknown. If it's unknown to me, then no, we cannot trust it, right? So I have committed myself just this week. I'm like, just 7 days. This is what I'm going to be doing. And I'm not going to say it because I really want to more execute it and then talk about it after, to kind of, just report on that. So for anybody who is wanting to change their reality, who is wanting to transform to become a new personality, I don't know, I haven't seen people on the web talk about it, talk about the lows, talk about the darkness, talk about the shadow. And it's something that I want to talk about because it's real. It's as real as you make it real, because you're the one experiencing it. But what I would say, sometimes I feel like people just talk about the aftermath, and it's like, oh, and then, these were things that were going on. But as I'm going through it, let me tell you something. It is hard. It can feel hard because you're fighting. It's almost like you're fighting against yourself. You have intentions, you're having your meditations, you're having all these things, and then, you hear all these other things and you consume content and whatever and whatnot. And then you're like, maybe, or at least for me, I had this idea of what it would look like, and it's like, and sometimes I even block out anything that will not look like my ideal, not because, just because I like, again, the self-sabotaging thing is trying to protect me from feeling the pain, from feeling bad, from feeling, whatever it is that it thinks that I'm going to feel. So in this particular video that I wanted to share, let me just see, there's like 3 things. Definitely breath work. If you can find a breath work practice that works for you, that's something that has worked for me, because whether it's in the morning, I really like to do it in the morning, but I also now do it in the middle of the day when I feel like, my momentum has increased and I'm like, whoa, I'm going back to my old self. Let me just reset myself. So breath work, definitely it. And breath work can feel like work too, because especially if you're in this thing and you're self-sabotaging, or your inner child is like, I don't want to change, and I know that when you do this I'm going to change, then that might be your fight as well. But the thing that I've been telling myself, it's like, I know it's messy, I know it's scary, I know it's unknown, I know we've never done this, but it's okay. We're just gonna go through it. Like, I'm here with you. You're not going anywhere. Let's just try this thing, right? So learning also how to self-soothe, to talk to yourself in a way that, yeah, you can just work things through with this, inner child. The second thing is committing to small things first. In one of my meditations that I had, and this is something that I know, but just sometimes when you meditate, things just hit you differently, So, committing to small things. So in my meditation, I was shown like all these things that I aspire to, that I want to do, and then where I'm at right now. And it was like, it just hit me different. I was like, yeah, how can I have all those things when I can't even commit to the small things? Like, why? And maybe the universe wants to give it to me. I don't know. No, I mean, I know that the universe wants to give it to me, but what I mean is that maybe, I'm not too sure what I'm trying to say right now because I have half a brain, but whatever. Again, it's messy, it's scary, it's unknown, it's different, it's not coming out the way that I would want it to, but we're doing it. So basically it just felt like, how would I trust myself with the big things if I cannot trust myself with the small things? And it just hit me in my heart, and I started tearing up. And not because I didn't feel unworthy, but I could see how the shadow could take that opportunity and be like, this is why you're unworthy. You're unworthy and you cannot have this. But for me, I did not feel unworthy. I just felt like I'm not ready. And that was okay. And I was like, okay, so if I'm not ready to receive all this abundance, then let me just start small. And let me just take like these small steps daily, as consistently as I can, work through them whenever whatever happens or comes up, and then let's go from there. And then the third and last thing, visualizing, but visualizing with emotion. Because when you're in a state, at least for me, when I'm in that state where I'm fighting, literally fighting against myself, whether it's to get out of bed, to do the things that I said that I would do that do not look like I wanted them to look like, or whatever other situation, I don't necessarily need to meditate again, but I just go into that visualization that I had already, and I can feel the emotion, and then I'm like, it just like slows down the momentum, right? So it's like, it's a choice that we have in every moment. And yeah, I mean, it is nuts. It is nuts. Like, anyways, if I could show you right now how I'm recording this video, it's really, really not what I would want to, or how I would want to record it. And this is like, usually it would have been an excuse that, I don't sound right, I haven't prepared and all of that, but this is my commitment. So commit to yourself, do the small things first, breathe whenever you need to, visualize with emotion, and see that end goal, that end feeling, and where you want to be, and just like fully immerse yourself with all your senses and with your open heart, and let that be like one of your mental cues. Okay, so if this video speaks to you, let me know what transformation has been like for you. If you're into changing your reality, if things have been easy for you and I'm just not in the know, if there's something that you've done that you're like, this is just like a breeze, and I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy, but me, and whenever I want to change, it's life, please share. Like, I am curious, I want to know. Okay, so until the next video, I'm sending you ease and anything else that you want for yourself. Take care.